Hi, Valdine. Good. Hi, guys. Welcome. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. Yeah, excited. Last one. I give it a few minutes. Hope you guys are doing well. As you guys are hopping on, go ahead, say hi in the chat or whatever else. But what I'd love to know, and this is going to be a topic from today, so today's last two chapters is, is it too late and are you ready? As we're at the end here, I'd love for you guys to share, and you can share when we get into this later, is what's next? What's next for you guys? What's next to, understand where we go? So what's next? So we'll give it a minute or two as people are hopping on, and I'll type that in the chat. Oh my goodness, chat. Anyways, yeah. So go ahead, think about those things. I'm going to type this out and would love to hear what you guys are thinking about. Is like, where do you go next? How do you go next? Where's that for you? And by the way, happy Friday. It's the first week of June, if you can believe that. All right, so for those of you watching the recording, those of you joining, if you're watching the recording, this is what I would love you to do is sit down and just make a quick note. What's next for you? We've gone through the last 4 or 5 weeks here. We're finishing up with this one, chapters 9 and 10, kind of the culmination. And I don't know about you guys, obviously, chapter 9 was a little bit too late going through the, all the different stories. I guess I'm not going to necessarily, I don't want to say bore you guys or weigh you down or go through all those. Obviously, you read them in the book in regards to all the zigs and zags and the stories about Instagram that started off as bourbon and then ended up making a change, or the guy who started Slack. I think that's the really cool story is not realizing what you have but end up with something else. I love the stories of the companies that they intend a product. And they have this idea, it's like, okay, we're going to go to market with this amazing product, and then no one buys it, and they find out that it's a product that can be used in a totally different industry. So as we get into that, let me kind of kick this off first and say that the chapter 9, question 9, is it too late? My first inclination is no. It's too late if you think you're too late. It's too late if you have yourself fit into a box and thinking this is the only way to work. One of my thoughts, and I guess I share, I don't believe in retirement. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't believe in retirement. In network marketing, there's often times where people are like, oh, well, I can't wait to retire my spouse. If you've never heard it, now you're going to hear it right now. There is nothing more debilitating and crippling to someone's psyche than saying, I'm going to retire my spouse. I've told Kelly that is just, no, that pretty much says I'm going to turn them out to pasture. You're not worth anything anymore. I'm going to turn you out to pasture. And so that's kind of my ideology. I don't know what retirement would be. And I also look at that every day and say, well, if retirement is where I sit around and just watch The Price is Right and old MASH reruns and whatever else, like, I don't want to have anything to do with that in my life. Now, if retirement is that I get to play maybe some golf and I get to, help people build their business and I get to, travel and I get to do this and I get to do that, it's like, okay, I'm cool with that. But yet I want to be in action. I want to, be contributing. And I also kind of look at that. It's like, well, that can be your life if that's what you choose to make your life. But you have to say, I don't want to be where I'm at. You have to create this vision of something different and then act on it. And, when I look at, the other factor here, and again, going on retirement and understanding, is it too late, is most people that I know that have gone into retirement, they just kind of give up and they end up dead. Now I know that's a harsh way to look at it, but I believe that's reality. And so when I think about this concept, is it too late? It's like, no, it's not. One of my mentors, John Maxwell, he's 70, let's see, he is 73 now. And the guy has more energy. He's doing more with his life every day. And I look at it as like, I want to be like that when I'm 73. I want to be doing that. And what's funny for him is he talks about his dad, who's 98. And his dad's like, my best days are still ahead of me. And that excitement always invigorates me. And I, I'll be honest here. I live with have a parent who I think my mom, okay, is always coulda, shoulda, woulda, woulda. And it's just sad to me to see, a lady who is going to be 69 this year, she's 68, that she's looking at it and she can live another, 25, 30 years, right? And she's thinking, oh, my best days are behind me. It's like, you're not even 2/3 of the way through. And, I look at that to say the greatest accomplishments for a lot of people come later in life. It's later things. So to me personally, that excites me. I'm looking at it as I'm going to be 41 in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, I'm just getting started. I'm just starting to figure out the mess of the previous, 40 some years that I get excited about now. So when I hear about this, is it too late in the things that are zig or zag? Here's what I think of. Here's what I want to stress. I'm not going to go into the stories because again, we could, but I want to dip into the vision arc. And this is something that as I listened to it and pondered on it and, Amazon, which I think is very good. Always operate like it's day one. I read a book a few years ago. The author's name is Liz. Hold on. And let me pull it from my notes. I just thought about sharing this. It's not Lizzie McGuire either. If any of you know of kids that watch that show, it isn't. But the name of the book is Rookie Smarts. And in this book, what she goes through is the fact that, it's kind of this evolution that once you get older, Liz Wiseman, and once you get older, you're kind of like, wow, this is the way it's got to be. But yet when you're brand new, you don't know. So you question everything in a good way to where you uncover and you learn new things. And so when I look at that in regards to vision, and when I look in that compared to this, vision arc, the vision arc being, startup, rising, transitioning, mature, legacy, zombie, and dead, my penchant is I don't want to ever get past transitioning. I don't want to get to mature. I don't want to get to legacy. I don't want to get to zombie. I don't want to get to dead, because I also know if you're not on the uphill swing, you can get to flat, but then you got to reinvent to go uphill again. And she talks about that in her book, is that it's kind of this S-shaped curve. Is like you kind of start out, you're just getting started, you don't know anything, you have this rapid up, take, and then all of a sudden you flatten up, but flatten out again. And the great organizations realize when you start flattening out that you need to take off and go again. And I think what happens is the word legacy is thrown around in a vision. And this is just something that I'm thinking about. Yes, absolutely. Here, let me type it in for you, Veldine, by Liz Wiseman. Okay, so if you aren't seeing the chat, it's Rookie Smarts by Liz Wiseman. And when I think about that, I say that's invigorating for me. It's kind of like, that startup, and Michael talked about Amazon. They're like, we're always day one. And when you look at Amazon being very nimble in what they do, and they constantly are trying to get better, they don't get stale. And I think what happens with companies get stale, they don't realize that they start falling on the backside of that arc. And so when I think about my personal vision, when I think about sharing this with you guys, I always want to be on that younger, that early stage, that being willing to adopt new things and try. Does it mean that I go out and the new wildest and craziest thing? No, but I want to be on that front edge. I don't want to be, the guy that's all of a sudden here in 2020, it's like, maybe I should get an email account. That sounds like a good idea. And, that's what I think about in those contexts. And so as sharing with you guys my belief and my thoughts on, is it too late? It's only too late if you say it's too late. And as Michael used the examples of companies that were dead, in that zombie stage, it really came to a point where they realized, nope, we got to change this. We got to correct this. We got to make a big adjustment. And I look at it as being part of, my own companies or being partnered with other companies and see them kind of go through this. It's really scary to me to be at that mature stage. And let me share this with you. My nutrition business, I was a nutritionist for dairy cows, and I started that business on my own. I worked in the industry for 5 years, started my own business in 2006. And quickly I kind of, because I had that previous experience, my business was successful. It was good. And I thought, I'm good here. And I hit what I would kind of call the mature stage in that business. And even though it was brand new, because I had a clientele base, I'm like, this is fine. This is good. And I didn't, as much as I was looking at learning and growing, I was happy with my business. It was kind of flat. And I learned this from a mentor, and they said, you're either growing or you're dying. There's no in between. You're growing or you're dying. And the minute, to me, that you stop learning and trying to get better is the day you're dying, because you're not growing. And so when I look at that as a vision and company, that's got to be a part of my vision, is that we're constantly trying to grow. We're constantly trying to get better. And so I challenge you, if you feel like, man, is it too late for me? I would just go say, and I know this is going to sound weird, just go start digging yourself a hole. Just be done with it. Just be done with it. It is what it is. If it's too late for you, then just say, hey, give up, because you're made for more. Like, come on. The best days use, and I think this is what's fun, is I'm realizing, and I'm seeing ahead of me others, is the greatest gift you have is your experience to be able to look forward and create something new based upon what you went through for someone else. And there's always someone else is like, man, that's great. Let's go with it. Last week, I think I shared a little bit, and in the book that I'm also reading along with this, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, is sometimes you have a vision. And I want to help you guys out. Is maybe you're not sitting here today after you've read this book and you're like, man, I have a vision. It is absolutely, I know exactly what I see in a better day tomorrow. Maybe that isn't you. Maybe you're sitting here saying, I just don't love to be a part of something. I just don't know what that looks like. And this is my encouragement to you. And this is part of maybe thinking it's too late. Look around and maybe find someone that has a vision and say, I want to be a part of that. How can I help you? And in the book, Start With Why, Simon talks about some people have a why. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened, but I'm back. And so I apologize. I lost you there. If someone wouldn't mind in the chat, could you just let me know where I left off? What was the last thing you heard from me? I am sorry. My Zoom just cut out. So I don't know if I lost service, but if you could let me know, Start With Why. Okay. And so in the book, Start With Why, and Simon talks about, you're either a why person or you're a how person. And that's okay. Walt Disney was a why. He was a why guy with a vision. And Roy was the guy that made everything happen. He was the how guy. There's other examples of, if you use that classic example. And so my encouragement is, maybe you don't have a vision right now and you're thinking, is it too late to try to get a vision? Well, maybe it's saying, you know what? Let me look around in some of the things, the values that I have, and where's someone with a vision that I can align with and say, great, I will partner with that. I'll go along with it, and I'll be the how to that. And all of a sudden, as you're the how in that action, that action feeds momentum, and you can all of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay, I'm really good with this vision, but I got something just a little different. And so that's my encouragement is going through this. And hopefully this book has helped temper you there. But I also want to encourage you, maybe that thought of too late is like, is what I have going to be of value? Well, let me ask the next question in chapter 10 here is, are you ready? I think part of figuring out, are you ready with your vision, is just doing and just acting. Now, part of acting to me is having conversations with people, asking questions, trying to get their feedback and saying, okay, this is what's going through my head. This is my vision. This is what I'm just, we talked about earlier chapters, like have 70% and then, get the other 30% from other people, get their buy-in, see what they have to say. And, that's where I look at this is, are you ready? It's either you're ready or not. I had a college professor, and he told me, you're either pregnant in life or you're not. There's no in between. There is no in between. You're not half, you're not kind of a little bit. You either are or you aren't. And I think that comes to this is like, you either choose to be pregnant or you're not. And so choose to go. And if you're ready, you're ready and you go and make it happen. And I think that's where I again come to this is this is kind of short and sweet this week, guys. Is it too late? No, that's a mindset. It's 100% mindset. Every company, the zigs, the zags, whatever, you choose if it's too late for you. And I also look at that is part of my vision is always being on the front end of that curve. Be on the front end of that. Be where you're more of a startup. You're rising. You're transitioning. You're willing to change and grow and develop and just almost reinvent. My penchant is to get excited about that. And I'd want to extend that to you guys is that's a way to make it feel like it's not too late is getting excited on that front end. And then part of that, are you ready, is being not afraid. I don't know if you guys have ever, is anyone an adrenaline junkie? I mean, just show me or raise your hand. Adrenaline junkie. You just love like roller coasters and, to go on a fast motorcycle or whatever it may be. There was a point to where you got there. You had a little bit of a taste of it. You had a little bit of a taste of it. You had a little bit more. And, that's where I was, that's where I had the penchant to say, you just got to try it. You just got to go, and it starts small. And then eventually you get to a point, it's like, you know what, let's go with this. And so as far as sharing your vision, just go with it. And if someone says, hey, I'm not really down with that, that's fine. There's somebody else out there that is. And part of that vision is getting back to is like, what problem do you want to solve? What solution do you have, and what transformation? And so allowing that vision to say, are you ready? It's like, you know what, let's go sample that. Let's just go taste that out. If you make a new dish and say you like to bake or cook. Okay. I don't, it's like, whatever. But say you try something new. You're like, I don't know, hopefully this is good. You're going to sample it out with people. You're going to say, hey, try this out. What do you think? How's this taste? What do you think of this? And I think that's where, again, this, are you ready? There's no in between. You just got to do it, and you got to go, and you got to make it happen. And making it happen can be the most exhilarating roller coaster ride. Because when you start going up that hill and you hear that click, 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 click. And then all of a sudden you get to the top and you're like, oh, I no longer hear the click. And then it starts rolling down and it starts rolling down. And you're like, heck with it. Throw your hands in the air. Let's go. And that's what you got to be like. And it's got to be that way to where, you know what? I'm not afraid. And maybe all of a sudden you're one of those, I'm brave, my hands are in the air, and then all of a sudden it gets a little rocky and you grab a hold of the bar. And that's okay. That's making an adjustment. That's making a change. Maybe you're like, all right, this roller coaster was a little much for me. I'll go for the smaller one next time. You go on the smaller one, you're like, dude, I was on the bigger one. This is boring. Because I think that's what happens as you go and you go through it and you take time to make it happen. And there's a certain amount of, yes, Dan, absolutely, Sandusky, Ohio, Cedar Point, if you're not familiar, that was one of the most amazing roller coaster parks in the world. And here I'll share a personal story. I hated roller coasters. My family and I, we lived about 45 minutes from Sandusky, and we would go there every summer to ride on the rides. And my older sister and my dad would ride on the roller coasters. And my mom and I, we would ride on the water rides because I was cool with water rides. A big high water ride slide, I was cool with that, but I just didn't like roller coasters. And finally, my senior year of high school, we ended up going there for a class trip. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to ride the roller coasters. And I didn't just ride the roller coasters. They had one that was a stand-up roller coaster. I think it was called the Mantis. It's probably been renamed. And we waited to stand in the front row. And the amazing thing about this is you stand up and just think about it. You're in a roller coaster, and instead of in the seats, you kind of look down. When all of a sudden you're in a, you stand up roller coaster, when you're going down the hill, you're like, your body's like this, your face straight down. And I got through that. And after that, I realized, hey, you know what? I can handle that. That's not scary. And just rode with it and had people with me that were going to be a part of that journey with me. And when I think about vision and connect this, it's like, oh, you know how much fun that is when you have people that are willing to go with you and just trust. And you just say, all right, I got to ask the questions and I got to maybe adjust this. And if they don't quite understand, I got to find a story to help them understand, or maybe I'm a little bit off base. And so those are things that I kind of really got out of these last two chapters. I mean, to me, it was pretty quick and dirty at the end. It was like, bam, here we go. This is next. We did all the meat, and now it's just the cherry on top. Now it's just a little bit of like, hey, are you serious about this? Let's go. Let's get ready. Let's invite people in, and let's have fun with it. And so my encouragement with you guys is, what's next for you? I asked earlier before I lost that in the chat, but that's okay. What's next for you? Where are you going to take this from a vision point of view? Where are you going to take this and allow yourself to make a difference and realize wherever you thought it's not too late, and the only person that can hold you back is you, because just be willing to have the conversation with people. Be willing to, here's the deal. If you're not even 70%, that's cool. 50% is good enough. 50%, and start having those conversations and inviting people into the process. And I know you're going to find clarity there. I know all of a sudden it's going to start to align to where you're saying, okay, I get this. Let's go. Let's have at it. So that's what I had to share with you guys today. Real quick, I'm sorry about that, glitch in between. Apologize, but I'm glad you guys, got the nuts and bolts of what I had to say. I would love, and as I asked you guys to share in the chat, I would love for you guys to, share with me, what's next? Where do you guys go next? What's the next thing that you want to accomplish with your vision, and, inviting people into that? I'd love to hear those things. So go ahead. Whoever wants to share, I'd love to hear it. Don't everyone jump at once. It's all cool.
Go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Dan. Let me see. Let me fix that.
I was just going to say, I know for me, I need to work on.
Yeah, you should be able to. Go ahead.
I need to work on like what my vision is. I just need to like sit down and actually really kind of dig deep as to where do I want to go and what desires do I really have. We've had a pretty successful business, a couple of successful businesses, but I just need to like kind of reel it in because I'm all over the place and I need to kind of focus a little better. And this has been very helpful.
Awesome. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, for me it's similar. I'm just trying to get mine like written on paper. I know what my vision is, and just reading through that book, they saying like really put it down like helps. So like I need to just write it all out, rewrite it, whatever I need to do. But I did share it with a few people recently, one yesterday, and it felt like really good. I actually feel like I'm getting my vision down and able to like communicate that across to somebody else.
Love it. Good. Nice, Cruz. Who else? What's next? Where are you going? What's the next step for you?
I typed it out, but I can say it if you want. Hi, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. This book's something that I'm going to read or listen to often. It totally built my confidence, and I've already implemented it. Like, we're having a grow week next week within our team with what we do, and it's all about vision, like, and rallying up the troops, your friends, and just talking about where you want to go and where you see this, and everybody is so excited. So really refining my vision. Like, I've always had one, but I need to get better at it and get really, really bold with it and almost brand it in a way, because I kind of think different than a lot of people around here. And I think that's going to be an advantage for me. And I always looked at it like it kind of held me back, and I felt like, oh, I shouldn't live out loud with it. So it gave me so much confidence, and I'm so excited, and I really feel like it's breakthrough time for everybody, and I'm just fired up. So thank you so much for doing this.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks, Joanne. That's exciting. I mean, there's a part of vision to me that it's got to be a little exciting. It's got to be a little scary, and it's got to be a little exciting, right? And those are the great visions. And it gives something for people to aspire to, because I think we got this in the book. It's like, if people are like, oh, okay, I get that. That's not something they want to be like, okay, tell me more. How do we get there? Right? So I love it. Anyone else want to share? Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
Well, I'm really using this to help me progress through the different phases of our state, really. And it's every day I get enlightened with ideas. And so my vision's still around just the progress of my dance school and opening and everything. And it's really helped me, and I'm going to continue on with all the ideas. It's just like really helped me like grow a tree or a bush of all these ideas, and I have to get them implemented. And it's anyway, so thank you for your help.
Awesome. My pleasure. All right. Anyone else want to share anything? Any other ahas? Yeah, Veldine, go.
Okay, so first of all, yes, thank you so much for putting this together. It was awesome. And I had made a lot of notes, and my vision is like pages and pages long. So what's next for me is just to keep going through that. And I mean, over the years, I've made lots of different notes, and then they gather dust in the corner. So keep looking at that, and then breaking it down into kind of bite-sized chunks, and then putting that out there with the team. Right now, it's a little tough because we're still sort of supposed to not have big groups or anything like that because of COVID and stuff. So I'm kind of doing more one-on-one things, sitting on people's patios and that kind of thing, being creative with that, kind of getting that one-on-one time and pulling their vision out of them a little bit more. But yeah, keeping what I've got just forefront so that I can start implementing it and not just letting it gather dust and find myself a year later in the same position again. So.
Oh, I think that's good. And I think one of the things, whether I think intentionally done it, wanted to get people excited, is being willing to share. And the more you share with people, and one of my encouragements to you is don't wait until you can do it in person. Call together groups, do Facebook Zooms, do Facebook Lives, do whatever. If you have Facebook groups, and share that vision and allow people to give you feedback, because that's going to fuel your fire, but it's also going to let people know what's going on. I would suggest, instead of having those notes in a notebook, write it out on like a sticky note and put it on your mirror. Put it somewhere where you're going to see yourself every day, so you're reminded, hey, that vision's important. I need to talk about that vision. I need to engage in that. I need to get other people engaged in it, because I think Michael alludes to this. If you just have the vision yourself and you never share it with anyone, that's just a dream. That's not a vision. That's a dream, and a dream without action never happens. It's just kind of, you have to take action. And so just commit. You know what? I got to take action. I have to either bring other people in to where they rely on me. I have to put it right in front of me to where I can't avoid it. It needs to be there. And even if it's just a couple points, say, hey, I'm going to focus on that. And I'm going to focus on that, and let more of that story develop. I think that's what's really important. And I think that's what I really, got out of this book is just, make a point, make it happen, because there's not going to be a better time. And each day it's going to get a little farther away. And as it gets a little farther away, either the momentum leaves for other people and or the excitement leaves for you. And so it's bam, right now, this is where I'm at. If I, whatever circumstances are in front of us right now is what I have to work in. I can't wait until it gets different. There is nothing in the world today, my belief, that can't be done right now. It's we choose to, restrict ourselves thinking, oh, we have to, work differently. It's like, hey, even physical stuff you can go out and do in physically and in construction and those things. Hey, that can be done. If it has anything to do with people, interactive, make it happen. There's a way to do it. We have a way to contact and see people's faces like this. So embrace it and just go with it, because I think, again, that's just my thoughts. So, right? Anyone else have anything? Love to hear more of you guys share. Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
I said this before, I just love this book, and I have for years been doing the next thing, whatever the next thing is, without having an exact trajectory. And I'm actually a PhD candidate and will finish in the next year with my PhD, and just made that assumption, okay, I'll just get a job in academia and move on. And this book has really helped me think, no, exactly what kind of institution am I looking for? It may not be the one that I'm in now. And where do I want to go with my degrees, and where do I want to go with teaching nurses, and what does that look like? And it's helped tremendously. And there's been a lot of nights where I'm like, okay, I'm going to set my alarm for 30 minutes and do something, rather than because of saying, okay, I said I was going to do this, let me do it for 10 minutes. And then, and then I'm amazed by the time I go to bed how much I've actually gotten done, instead of going, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and that kind of thing. So it's been a huge help and encouragement to me, for sure. And I get really excited for about what's going on. So thank you very, very much.
Awesome, Kim. I think that is, to me, anytime that we can cause us to realign ourselves is always a good thing, as opposed to just kind of going through the motions, doing the everyday. So that's what I got for today. I know we usually block out an hour, but man, I think the best thing to do, if you got this time blocked out, is go. If you haven't used the online resources, go and get it, and get that stuff sketched out and really work at it, and go start sharing your vision with others. Share your vision with others and allow them to help you refine that, because that's when it's going to get legs. That's when you're going to make change. All right. All right. Thank you guys for, being here. Thank you guys for partaking. And here's my hope, is that ultimately out of this group of people, that you guys share your vision, share this with others so that they can grow in this time too. And so I appreciate you guys being here, and have a great day. Have a great weekend, whatever you're going to do. Hopefully it's nice and warm wherever you're at, and enjoy the summertime, right? It's June. So, all right. Bye guys.